Hi, my name is Nghi, and today I will reflect on the experience of storytelling on a personal story sharing. Before I start, I would like to talk about the acknowledgement of a country. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we operate. We pay our respect to the elder past, present, and emerging, and recognize their ongoing connection to the land, cultures, and community. We are committed to honoring and respecting Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander heritage and contribution. Now, let's turn back to my reflections about the story. Firstly, I would like to just share this perspective based on my experience listening to Mark's story, Marabila Displaced. During a story listening event, I used some of the theory frameworks that we learned about in our classes as a guide for this process, such as Kramer's 4 levels of listening 2009, Rinaldi's Pedagogies of Listening 2011, and Dr. Miriam Rose Uromer's Bauman's ideas of Dadiri with the Art of Deep Listening 1988. Then, I am going to move on to how I'm listening to the story from downloading mood to deeply understand. For me, I participated in Dadiri, which combines calm, relaxed, and no rush awareness with personal, deep listening. While I'm listening to Mark's story, I had to be completely present and responsive using these methods, not hurrying to translate or understand that. These were related to Rinaldi theories 2011. That's listening to human behavior used on of the emotions and also sharing knowledge. Moreover, applying these theories allowed me to get nervous and confused about how to understand, and I realized that listening to a story is an active process of learning new knowledge, as described in the article in the sections of Class is moving from storytelling to story listening. It challenges me at first and it encouraged me to take the time and space to be able to highlight, understand, and be able to feel what was happening in the story and how can I understand about it by listening. In addition, I found my personal listening skill will depend on Scrammer 4 levels of listening. I was basically in the downloading mood, making connections between the story and my previous knowledge. However, as I became aware of this, I make an effort to move towards a deeper level which is generative listening. Nevertheless, I also can see some challenges to me when using this approach. It's very new to me and I feel a bit difficult as the first time I listened to the story because of how little I knew about the Wandarudri culture. The song and the story were very calm and gentle and it required me to be very focused on detail. Before I'm listening to the story, I thought I had some knowledge of Aboriginal connections. However, the story and the way Mark described the river showed me the depth of respect for the country. For him, the river was more than just a natural thing, and it was the history of these people there. Responsibilities and connections between humans, animals, and the environment are very strong. Moreover, the most important moments that I heard in the stories is the way Mark spoke about how the rivers is essential to the community life and also belongs to farmers, builders, and animals that also affected and make me rethink my belief. So that's why I can understand the impact of my knowledge of privilege and inclusion. My understanding of privilege and in the history of the experience by Aboriginal people changed because of the way I've listened to it. My awareness about how I gain access to a cultural perspective that has often been disconnected in the setting program in the learning environment for children and also for their families. So I understood that my role was to respect to the story and make it connected and respected in the setting program as an educator. After my reflections, I just opened my mind about future teaching work. I could develop stronger relationships with families by listening to them the way Daduri, Rinaldi, and Karma advised me. Children benefit from seeing that they are valued and represented in their educational environment, which also gives them a feeling of belonging. The learning units which I learned from weeks 1 and 2 that explain inclusive practice as an approach and it depends on educators to think about each child's voice in the learning environment with full response. It also supports Rinaldi's theory that listening is a means of creating a culture in which its individuals can make an essential contribution like understanding of their identity will have them feel like they belong. Moreover, in my future planning, I would like to create a welcoming environment for all tourists and families to feel comfortable and free to share their stories with my listener respectfully and eye contact with them when we are interacting with children and their families. In conclusion, the story of Marabila Displaced give me a deeper listening experience about the country's cultures and their respect to the river and how it is very important to people there and how I can also learn the awareness from diary which grants me a deeper listening. As an educator, I believe that listening is a basic step to move forward to understand connections and belonging that we can develop in the setting program for children and families, which I need to develop and apply in my planning program for the future.